Jim, another brilliant victory on the road. I'm sure it's a happy dressing room.
Yes, of course. Any win away from home is always a really good thing. It was a game of very few real clear-cut chances for either team. The game was quite end-to-end in the first half. And then, of course, when Hearts go down to 10 men, it makes it a little bit easier for us. That's probably the only criticism I have in the second half. We obviously changed the shape, and we bring on midfielders with the likes of Babunski and Sibbald and Docherty to try and handle the ball. And I don't think we managed that side of the game well enough. We needed to try and put a couple of extra passes together and really make Hearts work hard for possession. But that's me being negative. On a positive note, it's a really great result. To go to Tynecastle twice in the league and to win both games, I think it's a great achievement for the group.
I think those changes as well were about getting a wee bit more width in the team, and that's exactly how we ended up scoring the winning goal.
Yeah, Hearts play a really difficult system to play against out of possession. In possession we felt we would get a lot of space in the wide areas with Ferry and Strain in the first half. We probably didn't switch the play quick enough at times, but when Hearts have possession, they create a lot of overloads in the middle of the pitch, and it becomes very hard to stop them when they're in free flow. But I thought we managed it okay, but obviously when we go to the extra man, it wasn't necessary for me to keep 3 centre backs on against 1 striker. I felt sorry for Sam Harding. It certainly wasn't performance related with the big man. I thought he was outstanding for the time that he was on the pitch. A really late call as well. Ross Graham was due to start the game. He pulled up in the warm up, and Sam got the nod. But that's the whole reason why I brought him back in January. I've been trying to protect him in recent weeks. Even last Saturday up at Dingwall, I could have put him in instead of Vichko, but I just didn't want to put too much pressure on the young lad's shoulders given the circumstances last weekend. So we decided to go with the experience of Vichko. But today, that was the option that we decided to go with, and I'm delighted that he played such a real significant part. And he'll take great confidence and great belief, realising that he can actually play at this level.
It's probably a good thing as well that he didn't have too long to go home and overthink about it over the past couple of days.
Yes, it is. I hope he had some family here and some friends here. Obviously, had he been, had been known yesterday, we would have given him a heads up, and he would have been able to have some family members here. But I hope they're still here anyway, and I hope they got to see their boy making his debut.
I think he was in the away end when we beat them in September. It's quite a story now that he's gone and contributed to another win here.
Yeah, look, he's a player that I think has got great potential. When you look at the physique of him, for a young 18-year-old to, he's 6'2", 6'3", he's very mobile, good athleticism, he's very comfortable on the ball, he's getting better in terms of the aggression side of the game, training against the likes of Dalby, Moult, Van der Sande every day over the last few months has really brought him on a lot in that department. Aerially he needs to get his timing a bit better, but he's an 18-year-old kid. The more games he plays against good opposition like that, the more experience he'll get and the maturer he will get off the back of it. But he's had a great couple of weeks, Sam. He made his under-19 Scotland debut a couple of weeks ago. Because his performance in that game was so good, he got drafted into the under-21s, made his debut there. And a couple of weeks later he's made his debut for Dundee United, which is I'm sure a very proud moment for his family.
Yeah, the away form over the past couple of seasons has been outstanding. So what do you put that down to? Why are we so good on the road?
Well, I've got my own theory on it. I think away from home you probably don't have to be as open and as expansive maybe. I think when opposition come to Tannadice, they can afford to sit in a little bit, which means we need to come out, and sometimes we, lately in weeks gone by we've kind of left ourselves a little bit open, and we haven't been on a great run prior to the Ross County game. We're quite honest enough to admit the fact that the previous 8-9 fixtures haven't been exactly what we wanted. But you look at the league, and all of the teams in the league at one point or another during the season have had a little bit of a dip in form. And the real positive thing for me is that the players never really allowed that to affect them. We were getting a lot of criticism from without, and deservedly so. When you don't perform, and me as manager, when I don't make the right decisions, you deserve that criticism. But I'm really pleased that we were all able to stick together as a group, come through the other side of that disappointment, and to get 2 back-to-back wins in the league, 2 clean sheets, Yeah, very pleasing.
Yeah, it's obviously a massive 3 points in the moment, but it could also have quite a big bearing on how the table looks post-split.
Yeah, I mean, look, we had a discussion back at the hotel before the game, after pre-match, about, you know, the significance of the remaining 7 fixtures prior to today. There was only 6 left, but, you know, we're not just satisfied with getting the top 6. You know, we wanted today get a positive result to put pressure on the likes of Hibs and Aberdeen above us. We've still got both those teams to play now in the post-split, and you know, the bar has changed a little bit. You know, if we don't get there, then I'm pretty sure everybody will be understanding of the situation, but it certainly won't be for a lack of fight or a lack of commitment from the group. We, I think, have punched above our weight this year. I think we've exceeded expectations. The objectives have changed a wee bit as the season has went on, but by no means are we going to, you know, start thinking about holidays. We've got 6 huge games coming up, big performances, big results needed, and, you know, why can't we get that European space?
Just the final word for the travelling support. They were absolutely brilliant again today.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've been brilliant, brilliant all season. You know, and it sounds a bit patronising when a manager comes on and you know, starts talking positively about the fans, but they have been amazing. You know, when we went through that little dip of form, yes, okay, there's a bit of criticism coming our way, and some of it was justified, but wherever we've been on the road, you know, Dingwall last weekend, the difficulty that they had in terms of getting there, the logistics of that, the transport difficulties, they always turn out in great numbers, and somehow they find a way to be on the road with their team and get behind them, and they always make a difference.